a tale of fear, wisdom, and courage. The Bell in the Forest.
Once upon a time, nestled on the edge of a vast and ancient forest was a prosperous village named Dharapur.
The villagers lived in peace and harmony, surrounded by nature's blessings, golden fields, sparkling streams, and whispering woods. In the heart of this village stood a magnificent temple, dedicated to the gods they worshipped daily with deep devotion.
At the entrance of the temple hung a large ceremonial bell, carved from bronze and decorated with sacred symbols.
Every morning and evening, the villagers would gather as the bell rang out, its sound echoing through the valleys, calling everyone to prayer. It was not just a bell, it was a symbol of unity, faith, and the soul of Dharapur.
But Theft, one moonless night, a shadow crept silently into the village. A thief, desperate and hungry, sneaked into the temple. His eyes fell upon the bell, shining, beautiful, and valuable.
With trembling hands, he cut the ropes and took it down. As he ran into the dark forest, the heavy bell clanged loudly with each step, the sound slicing through the silence of the night.
Far away, deep in the jungle, a tiger stirred. The echo of the bell startled the beast. Curious and alert, it followed the sound. The thief, exhausted from running and burdened by the heavy bell, finally collapsed beneath an old banyan tree.
In the blink of an eye, the tiger lunged from the shadows, a roar, a scream, and then silence. The bell rolled from the thief's lifeless hands and came to rest on the forest floor. The next morning, a troop of playful monkeys discovered the strange object lying in the forest. At first, they were cautious, but soon their curiosity took over. One monkey struck the bell. Clang! The sound thrilled them. They began playing with it, ringing it joyfully every night as the sun set. The mysterious chimes echoed through the trees and reached the village. At first, the villagers were confused. But when the bell's ringing continued night after night, always at midnight, they grew terrified. "It's a ghost," some cried. "A spirit from the temple is angry," whispered others. Panic slowly gripped Dharapur. The panic spreads. In desperation, the village elders chose a young man named Ravi, known for his courage, and asked him to venture into the forest. Though nervous, Ravi agreed. When Ravi reached the place where the bell rang, he saw a horrifying sight: a skeleton lying beneath the banyan tree, half covered in leaves and moss. Startled, he turned and ran back to the village, breathless and pale. "There's a ghost," he shouted. "It killed a man and now roams the forest, ringing the bell." Fear turned into hysteria. Families began abandoning their homes, children cried, shops were closed. The once peaceful village turned cold with fear. The king's proclamation. When the news reached the king, he was shocked. A ghost in his kingdom? He made an urgent announcement. "Whoever can rid the forest of this ghost and bring peace back to Dharapur shall be rewarded with gold and honor." Whoever can rid the forest of this ghost and bring many tried, soldiers, hunters, and mystics, but none dared venture too deep. The fear of death and spirits held them back. The old woman's courage. Far from the temple, in a quiet corner of the village, lived an old widow named Kamala. She had no family, no income, and lived each day in silence. But when she heard the king's proclamation, something stirred within her. "This can't be a ghost," she thought. "There must be a reason, a truth behind all this fear." Kamala, though frail, was wise. That night, armed with nothing but a small lantern and her faith, she walked alone into the forest. Her heart pounded, but her eyes were sharp. She hid behind a tree near the banyan. And then she saw it, a miracle of innocence. A troop of monkeys gathered around the bell, giggling, jumping, and ringing it like a toy. Tears welled in her eyes, tears of relief and of truth. It wasn't a ghost. It was just nature, misread by frightened hearts. The clever plan. The next day, Kamala returned to the king. Your Majesty, she said, I know how to end the haunting, but I need help. With the gold he provided, she bought peanuts, jaggery, fruits, and bananas and returned to the forest. Carefully, she laid the feast under a tree near the bell and waited, hidden in silence. Soon, the monkeys appeared. Drawn by the delicious scent, they rushed toward the food, leaving the bell behind. Kamala, without making a sound, picked up the bell and walked away, victorious.
The truth revealed. The next morning, she stood before the king with the bell in her hands. The ghost is gone, Your Majesty, she said, smiling.
The king was astonished. But how? Kamala shared the truth about the monkeys, the thief, the fear, and the lies born out of panic.
The king stood up and clapped his hands. You are wiser than any warrior, he declared. You faced what others feared and saw the truth.
He rewarded her with land, gold, and a place of honor in the village. The bell was returned to the temple, and the villagers, now ashamed of their fear, welcomed Kamala as a hero. Moral of the story. This tale teaches us 3 timeless truths. 1. Don't believe rumors blindly. Fear spreads when truth is ignored. Seek the facts before believing what you hear. Number 2. Use your wisdom in hard times. Intelligence, not panic, solves problems. 3. Face your fears. Most fears are shadows that vanish when faced with light. Ending their bell in the forest no longer rung, but its memory reminded Dharapur to live not in fear, but in truth, wisdom, and courage.